Well, hello and welcome everybody to Control Alt Achieve Live for May 1st, 2023. How is it May already? But it is. Thank you so much for joining me, whether you are joining live or if you're watching the recording later. Either way, really appreciate you hanging out with me for a little bit here. As always, everything that we're going to be looking at tonight can be found at bit.ly/CAA live. That'll take you to a Google document that looks like the one I'm showing on the screen here. And if you scroll on down to the second page of that, that's where you're going to find the links that we're going to be exploring tonight. As normal, we've got a few from around the web and a few from my blog that we're going to be taking a look at. Again, that's bit.ly/CAA live. While you're pulling that up and getting settled in, as normal, real quick introduction. Howdy, everybody. My name is Eric Kurtz. I'm an educator here in Northeast Ohio. My day job is as a tech coach or tech integration specialist. And then on the side, I run a website called Control Alt Achieve, where I share out all of my EdTech resources. There's lots of ways to connect with me. I've got those all listed out here. You figure out whatever way works best for you. My email's there, Twitter, YouTube. I've got a weekly newsletter, an email discussion group, lots of different ways to connect. So whatever works for you, I would love to connect with you. Below that, there's a spot here showing upcoming streams. So we've got the stream for tonight. And then it's actually going to be a couple of weeks before we have another live stream, just because it is that time of year. It is the end of the school year and everything is hitting at one time. So I have conflicts for the next 2 weeks between some conferences and some other obligations. So it's actually going to be May 22nd when we get back together for the next live one, but the links are all there so you can add it to your calendar and be ready for that when that comes up. And then shortly after that, we'll also have our GEG Ohio meeting, and like to always give a shout out to that as another great live stream that you can join. Now, I would love to hear from you guys tonight, so please do share your thoughts throughout the session tonight. Probably the easiest way is just to drop something in the chat through whatever live streaming service that you're using. I'll do my best to keep an eye on the chat over here and answer questions or respond to the comments you have. But you can also just leave comments right in this document as well if that works better for you. And I do see some people already saying hi. Karen is saying hello from Chile, Indiana. Yes, Karen, I absolutely. I'm in Chile, Ohio, chilly and wet Ohio, looking outside, and it's raining and gray and dreary right now. And Peggy's saying hi from Phoenix, Arizona. Probably a little bit warmer and a little bit drier there as well. And thank you, Peggy, for saying that you'll miss me for the next couple of weeks. But yeah, it's just that time of year. Things are a little bit crazy. So it'll be a couple of weeks before we're back on live, but looking forward to that. All right. Well, again, hopefully that gave everybody time to get settled in and get ready to go. As always, you can get to these resources at bit.ly/CAA-live. Well, let's go ahead and scroll on down to that second page and take a look at what we're going to be exploring tonight. All right. So tonight, we're doing 3 extensions. Now, that may seem a little coincidental. Why are we doing 3 extensions? Well, it just turns out that I'm actually doing a session in a couple of weeks on Chrome extensions. And so I've been preparing for that session and going through my list of, I think about 150 or so Chrome extensions that I've got in a list where I like to recommend them to folks. And I've been going through those to try to pick out, the ones I wanted to share in that session. And while doing so, it gave me a chance to rediscover some awesome extensions. And so I ended up picking 3 from that. And so I guess it's the idea of, you don't want to have to do double the work. And so since I was already knee deep in extensions for the last several days, I figured, you know what, I'm going to take what I learned from that for that upcoming training, and I'm going to share it with folks here tonight. So heads up, that is why all 3 of the ones we're looking at here tonight are extensions. All right. Well, with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my banner, and we'll go ahead and put this up nice and big on the screen so we can all follow along. All right. And again, let me know if you guys have questions or comments at any point throughout the session. All right. So the first thing we're going to take a look at tonight is a Chrome extension called the Library extension. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about this one. So this is a free extension, as all of these are, that allows you to see right away if any books that you are looking for online are available at your local library. So the idea is you can be on Amazon, you can be on Goodreads, you can be on Google Books, you can be on all kinds of websites, and maybe you're looking to purchase a book. Well, what if your local library has it? And wouldn't that be great to support your local library and not have to purchase the book and just be able to go check it out? And so this extension supports over 5,000 libraries from all around the world. All you have to do is, log in, create an account, log in, and link your local libraries to your account. And anytime you go to search for a book, you can always say, oh, hey, look, looks like we've got that right down the road. So let's try this out. Now, again, you can follow this link, of course, to install the extension. I've already got it installed, so I certainly won't go through that again, but that is where you would go to install the extension. What I want to do is I want to show how it works for you here. So let's pull over a couple of tabs. So we'll grab Amazon, and we'll grab Google Books, and we'll grab Goodreads. So we're just going to pull over a couple of tabs here that I had queued up and ready to go. And I've already got the extension turned on and installed. It's the one up here that looks like a little library books. And of course, again, you can go into your options there, and that's where you can set what your libraries are. So all I did is I just right-clicked on the extension and I chose options, and that's where you can say where you're at. So I kind of straddle between Medina County and Summit County in Northeast Ohio. So I've got accounts at both of those, and I work in Stark County, so I've got a library card there. I got library cards in 3 different counties, and so I'm really covered. I can pick up books just about anywhere, and so I've got those linked in here to my account. So let's say I'm on Amazon and I'm wanting to do a search for a book, one that I do actually have, but we'll just use it as the example here, is the Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. Now, I love John Green, great guy. He's put out so many great books and great content online. He did a podcast on and off for the last several years called the Anthropocene Reviewed. And it's a fantastic podcast. Yeah, I don't think he's actively doing it anymore, but if you can get a hold of it, it's fantastic to get some of the older shows that he did. Well, he put a lot of those together into a book. He took a lot of the content from that podcast and he made a book out of it. And so if I was to come here to Amazon and say, I really want to pick this up, I actually do own a copy of it, but let's say I wanted to pick up a copy of this. Well, while I'm looking at it here on Amazon, look at what's happening over on the side. All of a sudden, this is expanding over here saying, hey, heads up, Eric, just so you know, Stark County and the Summit County and the Medina County Library, they have copies of this. And so I can just, always keep an eye out over here, and I can click right on one of these and say, yeah, I want to check that out. I want to borrow that. And so if I give a click on that, it'll take me out right to that library online. And of course, if I'm logged into my account, I can go ahead and put a hold on that or ask for that to be sent over. Now let's see I go to Google Books instead. Same thing, we can do that. Recently I was asking I think I was asking ChatGPT for some suggestions on books I might like, and it suggested Kurt Vonnegut and the Sirens of Titan. So I am curious. I think I may be interested in this book. So if I pop into Google Books and start reading about it again, here you go. It's popping up on the side. Let me know where I can get that locally here as well. And then lastly, let's say you belong to Goodreads, which Goodreads is fantastic, great way to track all the books that you're reading. A while back, I was reading Shades of Grey by Jasper Fforde. I love Jasper Fforde. So many great books from him. But I actually didn't finish the book, and so it's still in my currently reading thing. And this is one I don't own. I had checked it out, so maybe I'm like, I better check that out again. And so I can see over here right away how that is available. So anyway, great extension. The library extension, I think it's a wonderful way to encourage our students and for ourselves as well, to encourage us to support our local libraries anytime we're looking for books. To have that pop up on the side is really nice to have. All right. Well, I'm going to clean up my tabs there because, again, I always get way too many tabs open by the time we're done. But that was, whoops, sorry about that. I think I believe we got a very big suggestion that just popped into our document here. So I might have to, here, we will take that suggestion out. There we go. That's the beauty of having a live editable document. You never know what might suddenly appear. All right, very good. So that was our library extension. Let's keep on going and take a look at our next extension, which is called VocabBoost. Okay, what's VocabBoost? So this is an extension that will create a close reading activity from any text on any web page. Okay, so first of all, I think most people probably know what a close reading activity is, but if not, basically it's where you take some text and you pull out some of the key words from it, and then you typically have like a word bank with those words in it, and the job of the student is to put the words back into the text. Well, the idea is this is going to help develop, vocab skills as well as context, being able to, okay, I'm reading this and what makes sense here, what seems like a reasonable thing to go in here. So either by context or by your knowledge of the subject matter. Well, there's a load of ways to make close reading activities. I did a blog post a while back about creating one with Google Docs using the drop-down chip tool. And there's lots of other options out there. Well, this is one more of them. And so I do, again, have this already installed. But if you want to install it, there's the link that'll take you out to the Chrome Web Store where you can install VocabBoost. Now, how does this work? So first of all, again, if you want to go into your options before you use it, you absolutely can. Just go up and give a right click on VocabBoost, go into the options, and you'll see the sort of options that you have include things like, well, how many blanks do you want? When you create one of these, interactive close activities, do you want it to be a certain percentage of the text that you've selected? Do you want it to be a certain number of blanks? At the moment, I've got it at 10% of the text, but you can change this to however you want. And of course, you can also ignore capitalization if that's helpful or not. Then if you want, you can turn on these options to have some pre-made word lists that they've got, like the English academic word list and the new general service list. So you can turn those on if you want to pull from those. And you can also have your own custom word list. Now, what all of these mean, all of these right here, the custom word list and the pre-made ones, all that means is when it goes to make the close test, it would only pull from these words. It would only look to see if these words are showing up in the text. And those are the only ones that it would pull out. So these are some pre-made lists here, and this is where you can make your own. You can just copy and paste in words up to, I think, 8,000 characters. So you could have a customized word list that you're looking for. Now, again, you don't have to do any of that. It'll work without any of that being done, but it's nice to know you can tweak this so that it's very specific to your grade level or subject area if you want to. Well, let's try it out. Let's see how it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab our old friend Dogo News. We go to Dogo News quite a lot. It's a current event article website for students. And let's say I want to read about black holes. And so I pull up this article about black holes, and I'm reading this. Well, what if I want to test myself on this? I want to create a close reading activity off of this. So what I can do is simply select the text and just do a right click on it. Now, when I right click on it, you'll see VocabBoost pops up, and that's where we get to decide what kind of a test we want to make. If I just say make a random test, it's just going to randomly pull out 10% of the words. And then up here, you'll see there's a spot where it says show choices. That gives us the words. And now we can drag and drop those down into the document here or into the website here to fill it out. Now, if you don't like the random test, you can just, refresh this, select it again, and try another one. So I could go and say, let's do the less common test. That's going to be hopefully less common words. They're going to try to avoid, the A's and the thes and things like that. So in this case, as I'm, looking here, I would say, oh, let's see, black holes. There we go. And I would take the word holes and I would drag that down and drop it into there. So I could start dragging the words from my word bank into here as I fill this in. And eventually when I'm done, I can click check answers to see how I did, or I can show the answers as well if I needed to. Now, again, if you want to, I'll show you just again. If I select these, I could also choose from, for example, the pre-made list they've got, or I could use my selected words list. That's my own own custom list I was making. So if I choose that, it's only going to grab words off of that selected list, and that's all it's going to pull out. But there you go. I mean, it's a simple, nice, easy way for a student to read an article and then quiz themselves on it. So after they've read the text, they can now give themselves right on the spot a quiz where they can say, okay, do I understand this material? Can I put this back together again from there? So that is the VocabBoost extension, and the link for that extension right there in the agenda with us there. All right. Again, let me know if you have questions, comments, thoughts about any of these. Certainly excited to hear what you guys think about some of these tools. All right. Well, that brings us to our third extension. We're going to take a look, again, Extension Palooza tonight. The third extension we're going to take a look at is a citation generator called MyBib. Now, there are a lot of citation tools out there. Absolutely. But I've tried a couple, and some haven't had as much success with. Others, I've seen some bad reviews for them, or they were working, but now they're not. And so as I was going through them, this one seemed to be, at least as far as I could tell, a really solid citation tool. What this one lets you do is generate a citation from any web page you're on. So if you're on a web page, you can click this extension and boom, it'll make a citation for you. And it's got like 9,000 citation styles, although we're probably only going to use a handful of those ever. And once you get the citation for the page you're on, you can copy it and just paste it right into what you're using, or you can save it for later. You can put it into a bibliography that is developing while you're doing your research. And then that bibliography, you can export that. You can spit that out to Google Docs or to Word or to other tools. So let's take a look at that. Again, the link is here if you want to jump out to the Chrome Web Store to install the MyBib citation generator. I've already got it installed, so we'll just use our black hole article that we were on here just a moment ago. And let's say we wanted to cite this. So for that, I'm going to come up here to my find my citation tool here. Make sure I've got the right one. There it is. I just had to find the right icon. There, I got so many icons up there. There it is. So that's it. There's the MyBib citation generator. And if I give a click on that, it's going to start by asking me what style do I want to use for this. And it's got, some of the most common, of course, here, like MLA, APA, Chicago, etc., like that. Well, I'm just going to leave it on MLA. And so, boom, there it is. It has now created that citation. And if I'm like, oh, that looks great, I'm happy with that, I can just click on it and it just copies it. At that point, I could open up, whatever document I'm working on, and I could just paste that right in. So we'll just blurf, paste that in, and there we go. There is our citation. Now that's fantastic if you just needed to grab it and then copy and paste it somewhere. Wonderful. Well, let's say though, this is just one citation out of a whole bunch. You're working on doing a paper. Well, you can also use the Save to Project option at the bottom. And if you do that, it's going to take this citation and it's going to drop it into an ongoing project. Now, you can have as many projects as you want. I just have one, but you can start new projects here if you want. I just have one, so it just keeps dropping my examples that I've been doing into this. And so this can just keep building and building and building for whatever project that you're working on. Now, at some point, you may say, that's it. Okay, I've got everything. I'm ready to export this. Well, that's where you can click on the download button at the top, and that allows you to spit it out in all kinds of ways. So I could copy and paste the whole thing. I could send it to Word. I could send it to Google Drive. I could go over to Mendeley or Zotero. All of those options are available. Let's just say I do Google Drive. It's going to boop. It's going to create a Google document, and it has now spit that out. It would be I'd have to head over to my Drive now, but that it just drops it in your Drive. And so I would have this document now in my Google Drive put in there. So really nice, really slick. Seeing some good feedback here. Karen saying these extensions are amazing. They'll streamline so much work and save so much time. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Karen. And I agree. I was really excited to get to play around with these. As I said, I was going through these for an upcoming training I'm going to be doing. And as I was working through these extensions, all of these really caught my eye as one that I had always meant to dive a little bit deeper into, but had not taken a chance to do so. And Peggy's saying she agrees that these are valuable extensions as well. Well, that's great. All right. So those are the 3 around the web things that I wanted to share with you guys this week. We're going to transition now over to links of the week from my blog. Again, if you got questions, comments, feedback, things that you want to mention, please throw those in the chat. Absolutely excited to hear what you guys have to say. All right, so what do I have to share from my blog? Just a few things. I did get a chance to be on another podcast recently, and so I did share out a blog post for this, and this is the EdUProtocols podcast. Now, couple of quick things. If you don't know what EdUProtocols are, I will do a real quick explanation of what those are. I don't know if I'll do it justice, but I'll do a quick explanation of that, and then I'll explain why I was on the podcast as well. But it's a great podcast if you're looking for another educational podcast to add to your collection. So first of all, if you don't know what EdUProtocols are, what are they? So the best way, here, I'll just pull over a slide that I've got from a session I do on this. There we go. The best way to describe this is an EdUProtocol, and I did not create the slide. I wish I could give credit to who did. I apologize, but I got it from an education, from another training that I took on EdUProtocols. They were kind enough to share it. But an EdUProtocol is a framework. It's an instructional strategy, let's put it that way, that can be used at any grade level, that can be used in any subject, that can be used multiple times throughout the year, that will help students be more engaged. It'll help them think critically. It'll help them communicate with each other. It'll help them take ownership of their learning. Now, most EdUProtocols are just built on, they're like a reinterpretation, a modernization of things we're used to. So like think, pair, share, they call the cyber sandwich. A KWL chart is now called thin slides. The jigsaw method is the Iron Chef lesson. And so it's tried and true concepts that we have used in education for many years, but with a modern twist. A lot of times there's a technology element that is being used with these. And the idea is once a student learns how to do this once, after you've done an Iron Chef lesson, or you've done thin slides or cyber sandwich or whatever the case might be, the second, third, fourth time in the year that you do it, they're like, oh yeah, I know what that is. And you don't have to reteach the whole process. They can just jump right in and get going. And really it's so much more, the students are doing the work. They're doing the learning. It's less work for the teacher, and the students are much more active in it. So there's a whole website on EdUProtocols. At eduprotocols.com. There's lots of books. I've got a whole bunch of EdUProtocols books. Everybody involved in it. Great folks. So with that said, let's explain what was going on here. So I got a chance to be on their podcast. So this is with Jamie, Scott, and Fabian, and they do a wonderful podcast where, in their own words, they are doing a deep dive into different EdUProtocols. They talk to educators and authors and experts to find out how they are using a particular EdUProtocol in their classroom and how it's working. And that's fantastic. Well, what I was on there for was to share about a activity I had created that was inspired by all of these wonderful EdUProtocols that are out there, which was my tier list activity. Now, I'm not going to go through that whole activity again. I think I shared this months ago, but I do have a blog post about my tier list activity, which is a high engagement activity for students where they really work on critical thinking and communication, comparing, contrasting, etc. It can be done easily within a class period, probably just a portion of a class period. And all the resources are in here about what the students do to complete the activity, doing some work on their own, then with a partner discussion, and then with a full class discussion. So I will not go through all of those details. I've got a whole video here on it, and I just did a podcast interview on it as well. So you can find out everything you need there, but that's what we talked about. We talked about what is the tier list? How does it work? How can you use it with your students? I give some background on how I how I developed that particular activity as well. So all that's there. You can listen to that particular episode as well as access all of my resources on it. But more than that, I would encourage you to check out the entire podcast itself, because they've got, many episodes going back for quite a while. It's a great way to get that deep dive into here's an educator and here's how they're using a particular EdUProtocol in their classroom. So I just wanted to make sure that we got that on everybody's radar. And a big thanks to Jamie, Scott, and Fabian for letting me be a part. They were so wonderful to talk to. It was such a pleasure to be on that podcast. Oh, Sarah saying that her students love the tier list activity. Well, Sarah, I'm so glad to hear that. That's fantastic. I think it's a really fun activity as well. I think there's a lot of great critical thinking going on, a lot of great discussion and debating and, explaining why you ranked things a certain way. And I'm really excited to hear how people use that. All right, so that was one of the things that I shared recently. Next up, we did have our April Google user group meeting for GEG Ohio. As always, this is a monthly meeting that anybody is welcome to attend. You don't have to be from Ohio to attend our GEG Ohio meetings. But we just had the one at the end of April. And so I put in the link here to the video from that, as well as the agenda document. And if you're not familiar with these meetings, basically we go through everything new in Google. So, we all know Google is a moving target. They're constantly putting out new content and new features and new updates. And so that's pretty much what we focus on is, all the new updates from the last month. So you don't get caught off guard and you can stay up to date on everything that's new. And then we also spend some time doing show and tell, where we share lots of great resources, and people shared so many neat things from the community. It was fantastic. And then we have a Q&A section where people ask questions and we try to provide support as well. So if you weren't able to attend live, no worries. Everything is recorded every month. And I did put that blog post in there so you can catch April's meeting. And as a reminder to you, we do have one, of course, coming up in May. I did go ahead and put that link up here at the top under the Watch Live, even though this is not a Control-Alt-Achieve live event. It's the GEG Ohio Live, but that is May 31st. So you can also catch the May one when that comes up as well. And then the last thing that I've got here to share is not a new post, but it's a relevant post. And that's about transferring your Gmail and your Drive. So let's talk a little bit about this. So here's the idea. It's that time of year. We're in May, so we have made it to the end of the school year, and it's very possible that you've got a lot of your students that are seniors that are going to be graduating here. Probably a 12th of your population is going to be graduating and moving on. And what if they have Gmail they want to take with them? What if they've got Google Drive files they want to take with them? So this is a real good question for students. How should they handle that? But also, what about staff? What if somebody is retiring? What if maybe you've taken a job at a different school district and you're transferring from one school district to another? And you as an educator, like, well, I want to take my Gmail with me. I want to take all of my Google Drive files with me as well. Well, there's a lot of options out there for this, but this is, I think, hands down the best choice out there. This is from Google. It's a tool called Google Takeout for Schools. And I did a blog post on this a while back, a couple of years ago. It is still up to date. It is still accurate. I've got a 9-minute video that walks you through the whole process. I will not go through all of that here right now. I'll just give you the main gist behind this. But before I say anything else, I just want to make sure I do clarify that this is Google Takeout for Schools, which is a completely different product from Google Takeout. There actually is another thing called Google Takeout, and it's not the same thing at all. Google Takeout for Schools is a very different product, and it is specifically for somebody who has an education account that they want to transfer things from, and it works so easy, so much easier than the traditional Google Takeout product. Basically, what it comes down to is you're going to go to the Google Takeout website, which is at takeout.google.com/transfer. And from there, you're going to basically sign in with the account you want to transfer from. You're going to put in the account you want to go to. So if you're moving all your stuff to a Gmail account, if you're moving all your stuff to a new school account, whatever the case might be, you'll put in that destination. It'll send a code, and you can then log into other account and say, yep, that's really me. I really did want to do this. And so once you've verified the sending end and the receiving end, then you can decide what it is you want to transfer. You can do your Drive or you can do your Gmail. Now, unfortunately, it's an all or nothing thing inside of that. So you can't say, like, I want to do my Drive, but I just want this folder. That'd be really nice. Or, Gmail, but I just want certain messages. It's going to grab it all. So be aware of that. It's going to grab everything in there, but that's it. You choose what you want, you hit start transfer, and then you don't have to wait. You can shut out of that because it's probably going to take a couple of days. It could. And in the background, it will start doing that. What's going to happen in Gmail is you're going to get a new folder, and that's going to be where all of your emails get copied to. And in Drive, you'll likewise get a new folder, and that's where all of your Drive files will get copied to as well. So be aware. With this coming up this time of year, if you've got folks, you've got students or staff who need assistance with this, feel free to point them to this video and this blog post from a couple years back, still relevant and still helpful for us today. All right, good stuff. Well, folks, I believe that is bringing us to the end of our time here. So as we start to wrap up, if you have any more questions, comments, anything you want to add, this is a great time to do so. Please throw those in the chat. Happy to take any questions or comments that you have. While you're doing that, just want to remind you that you can always get to these resources at bit.ly/CAA-live. It doesn't just include what we looked at today, but all of the weeks and weeks and weeks and months going back for a long time. You can access all of the recorded videos and blog posts and all of the resources that we look at each week. And again, just a reminder, it's going to be a couple of weeks till I'm back just because of some conflicts with conferences and end of year things. So May 22nd, I'll see you again. All the links are there, and also our GEG Ohio meeting coming up on May 31st. Well, again, thanks so much. Seeing some great feedback here. Peggy saying she loves the GEG Ohio meetings. I appreciate that, Peggy. I think they are so valuable. I learned so much, even though I'm sharing a bunch of things. The community shares so much back. It's a great, great way to learn new things. And then Sarah's asking about the sessions coming up. Are they in person? Yeah, actually, the sessions I'm preparing for, it's for the iTip Ohio Google Summit. I don't know. I've got, if we head over to my blog, I do have all that information on there. And even if you can't attend in person, you are allowed to attend remotely. It's kind of like that. They're not broadcasting them live. What they're doing is you would be able to access the recordings. Let's put it that way. So I do have, this is the conference that I'll be presenting at. It's the 2023 iTip Ohio Google Summit, which is May 16th and 17th. And I'm doing pre-conference on May 15th. So on that Monday night, I'm doing some pre-conference stuff. So these are all my sessions that I'll be doing there. Get a chance to do the keynote for that as well. So I'm really excited about that. There's the extensions one that I was working on. I know I've got a strange sense of humor with my Chrome extensions there. Yes, I know. But it is an in-person. It is an in-person one in Sandusky, Ohio, but they do have the option to participate virtually. And so if you do want to check that out, you could still register. Even if you can't go in person, you can get all the recordings from all of the sessions as well. All right. Let's see if there's anything else here that anybody said. Karen said she loves the What's New in Google resources from GEG. That is so helpful. Excellent. All right. Well, again, thanks everybody so very much. I appreciate getting a chance to learn with you guys here tonight. See you in a couple of weeks. Everybody take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Talk to you later.